Mentioned the Supreme Court bump stock decision. The other thing that happened in the last day is that the former president, Donald Trump, went back to Capitol Hill. You know, the last time he was up that way, he was trying to stir the pot a bit as thousands rushed the Capitol building and violently tried to stop the certification of the vote. Many remark the bizarre, eerily ironic nature of the fact that a bunch of people who identified Donald Trump, these are people from the GOP, lawmakers, they identified him as really the prime mover behind all of that violence and unrest that day on June 6th. They welcomed him with open arms.
They should have put the barricades back up. Keep him out.
No. Kim, very, very tough with Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see what happened and get a sense of the way it's landing amidst those who are lawmakers on Capitol Hill and a big part of the GOP. Here's something from ABC.
So, John, let's talk about this meeting because it's Trump's first time holding meetings with GOP lawmakers since January 6th. And many of those Republicans condemned the attack and Trump at the time. So what do you make of them having this meeting now just down the street?
Well, I mean, I think that this is symbolic of something that has actually been happening for some time, and that is Trump's total takeover of the Republican Party. He is here. He is going to be greeted like a hero there at that first meeting, which will be with the House Republicans. Most of the 10 House Republicans who voted to impeach him, as you recall, just a week after the January 6th attack on the Capitol, are gone. There's no more Liz Cheney. There's no more Adam Kinzinger. There's no more Peter Meyer. There's no more Tom Rice. All of those guys who and men and women who voted to impeach him, not all of them, but all of those that took a high-profile stance, either got defeated in Republican primaries because Trump targeted them, or saw that they were going to get defeated in Republican primaries and decided to bow out of Congress. So here he is. He's returning not as a tarnished former president, but something of a conquering hero to those House Republicans.
Now, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Trump haven't spoken in more than 3 years, but even
I
he
think this
plans
is interesting.
to be at
Stop
this
for just a
meeting
second,
today.
Albert. This is interesting, the dynamic between Trump and those who clearly identified themselves as people who would call out Trump for his responsibility. And the fact is his fingerprints were all over that riot at the Capitol. So some actually in high-profile positions in the GOP actually called that out, among them Mitch McConnell. Here you go. Go ahead, Albert, please.
And is that?
Yeah, that's going to be the second meeting with the Senate Republicans. He's got these extraordinary 2 meetings, and it's going to be virtually every Republican in Congress, not all, but virtually all. On the Senate side, the Mitch McConnell has confirmed he will be at the meeting. And Diane, Mitch McConnell has not spoken to Donald Trump since December 15th of 2020. And I use that very specific date because there's quite a story behind it. Mitch McConnell went on the floor of the Senate after the Electoral College votes had been cast. And he congratulated Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on their victory in the 2020 election. And Donald Trump was so infuriated by this that he immediately got on the phone. McConnell, as soon as he got back to his office just down the hallway from the Senate floor, was told the president's on the line for you. And Trump started screaming at him. I'm told by McConnell. McConnell described this conversation to me that it was an expletive-ridden rant. How dare you do this? We're still fighting this. And that was Trump ultimately hung up on him, and that's the last time the two men ever spoke.
Well, I mean, there you have it. It's a reality that Donald Trump owns the GOP. So if you're in the GOP and if you're high profile in the GOP, you pretty much have to get onto that hymnal and start singing from it. He said, Donald Trump did, at least through his people, and he did articulate the fact that he wanted to come to Capitol Hill to talk about an agenda, to talk about a policy. I mean, you and I know that he doesn't have any policy plans. He's just, his policy is you'll profess loyalty to me and you'll be okay with me. And that's exactly what happened. So he meets to talk about this agenda. Instead, he spent about an hour talking about House GOP drama, cracking jokes, saying that Nancy Pelosi's daughters had said that, you and my mother, in a different time would have been a good couple. It was a bizarre meeting, and yet it was very on brand for Trump. He trashed the city of Milwaukee. And Milwaukee is where the GOP convention is going to be, and Wisconsin is a swing state. Now, again, in this weird Alice in Wonderland world in which we live, and that may or may not stick, but it is amazing that he just can make all of these different statements and be as reckless with his rhetoric as he wants to be, and he does it with utter impunity. We'll talk to Michael Schur about this. And again, this was, I believe today is his birth. Is it today his birthday, or his birthday was?
I think it's today.
Today. So Trump celebrating his birthday. He's on the big birthday tour. He was presented yesterday with a game ball from the congressional softball game. That congressional softball game is an annual event. It has achieved some degree of, I was going to say notoriety, but it's almost maybe infamy would be the better word because of that gunman who shot up the field that one day. You may recall that. In any case, they played the game. The GOP beat the Democrats in softball, and they have this softball, the game ball from Wednesday night's congressional baseball game, and they presented it to their Lord and Savior, Donald Trump, during the meeting. I mean, it was, in a way, we can make fun of it, but it was symbolic of the fact that you're our leader, you run the show now, and here is the fruits of the last battle are all wrapped up right here in this softball. So he's talking about building the House majority next term, and we'll talk to more, address that more and talk to that notion more when we speak to Michael Schur in the next hour. But that's essentially where Donald Trump is on his birthday week, and where congressional Republicans are. They can't wait to make a deal with Donald Trump. Among them, Marco Rubio, who is increasingly looking as though he might be Trump's pick for vice president. Again, we'll talk to Michael Schur about that. But apparently it was a kind of off-the-rails hour that he spent up there, and it was not about policy. It was about recrimination and about GOP dominance. So, hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.